everybody, it is Calxiyn and Hunter here. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should be patrons over on Patreon to support the channel, but you guys should subscribe. So today we are going to be talking about the future of the White Fang.
Yes.
Because Hunter wanted to.
Because it's also like a nebulous future.
Yeah.
Does it exist?
Well, here's the thing. So we know from Volume 5, Gira is making his own brotherhood, right? But we know that Adam's splinter group still existed because Adam went back and, like, murdered all those people, right? Like, oh, you got bested by the Belladonna girl, and all those people died. So can we assume that Adam's splinter group doesn't exist anymore, or do we think that it does?
Here's something that I think they heavily suggest in RWBY Volume 5 that doesn't exist anymore. Because it was either Ilya or Blake, but I think it's Blake that's just like, Adam tried to blow... people's abandoned him. If you remember some people, like the kind of Adam finale, I guess, in Volume 5, where you see him almost try to kill everyone in Haven. Yeah,
so it seems like some of his members leave.
Yes.
Right? Like, some of his people are like, well, fuck you.
Well, like, after he almost, after he's like, kill your brothers, let's blow shit up. Blake's just like, no one's gonna follow that psycho.
Yeah. And even when he gets back home, when he gets back to the White Fang base in Mistral, they all are like, ha! Loser, and then he kills them, right? So I'm gonna go.
I feel like if you worked at that place, you would kind of know that he was insane. So that's a bold move. Because it was only one guy who was like, how to Debella, and he killed all of them.
I know. That's how I would want to die, though, being like, yeah, you fucking, like...
No, that's not how I want to die.
Like, I don't know.
I would want to die being like, I'm getting coffee. What do you want? And I just never come back.
Okay.
That's, I think, how I would go.
Anyway,
the White Fang.
Here's my sort of idea, is that I feel like Adam's splinter group in Mistral has gone away. Like, and basically, Adam had a splinter group, but he sort of just took over Sienna's White Fang, right? But I'm pretty sure they're not going to follow him, so I'm pretty sure he murdered all those people, and then anybody else who didn't get murdered just went over to Gira. Like, that's what I would imagine happened, is that they went over to Gira, and Gira is starting a new brotherhood that's not associated with the White Fang name.
And you start to wonder that,
something else.
Do you think people would
just... FF, the Faunus Freedom Fighters. But then it sounds like FF, like fanfiction.net.
FFF. Faunus Freedom Fighters, FFF?
Yeah.
F3?
F3.
F squared, F cubed.
F squared.
F cubed, yeah,
God.
F cubed.
Anyway.
Hi guys, we're F cubed. Sun came up with the name. Hi, Sun. Hi! We're gonna do some good stuff here. No, it's, so here's like a bit of an idea I had recently about that. Was that we don't know what Tyrion is doing.
What does that have anything to do with anything?
It doesn't.
We don't know what Tyrion's up to, like,
well,
okay.
What if Tyrion, like, picked up all, like, the leftover straggler, like, crazy batshit Faunus? But then I'm like, no one's gonna follow him either. And that video, like, I almost shot my own idea down pretty soon after. Because here's the thing, presumably there's still people who are, like, either, do you think those people who were in it for a fight would join in, like, a peaceful sort of organization? Or do you think they're going to come up somehow? Like, are we going to see, like, I don't know, Ilya folds back into bad ways and she comes back as a villain again? That would be bad.
Here's my idea, okay? I would like, if, Adam's dead, his splinter group's dead, right? It's only Gira and the White Fang now. But I would like that if in Atlas, there are sort of rumors of this, like, mass liberator that used to, like, be in Atlas and all that, because he's Adam was branded with Schnee Dust Company. And so I think a couple people mentioned this in my comment section too, that they would like if that, even though Adam's dead, in Atlas there are rumors of this, like, mass liberator who is fighting for the freedom of their people, right? And so the Faunus there would see Adam in sort of a totally different light. Like, they would see him as a hero, but they didn't know who he was or who he turned into. Like, it would just be like, oh, there was a guy in a mask with a red sword. I saw him once, and he did, like, he stole a Schnee Dust Company freight train, right? Like, people may not necessarily know that it was Adam Taurus, but and sort of, it's almost
becomes
like,
legend.
Yeah, he becomes legend. It's almost sort of like Mulan. Like, Mulan was a real person, but obviously she became something also more, like, not mythical. That's not really folklore-y, if you want to call it that, right? I can't think of a equivalent. Maybe Joan of Arc, too. Like, obviously she was a real person, like, in the Bible, biblical sort of figure.
Like, maybe like a Robin Hood.
Yeah, something like that. So it's like, Adam was a real person, But for the people in Atlas, they have this sort of idealized version of Adam without knowing who he was or what happened to him, and they don't even know his name. All they know is sort of this red glowing dude that went around like stealing Stardust Company trains and all that. And I would actually like that because it kind of shows how, I think, like, the point with Adam's character to some degree is that he manipulated Blake into basically thinking that he was one way when he was another way. Even if he started out as, like, good, if you want to call it that, at first. Like, he started out with good intentions to free all the Faunus at first. He turned into something else, but was still able to manipulate the people around him into believing that he was still fighting for their cause instead of fighting for just himself, right? And so you sort of have that line, too, like, Yang is like, she doesn't say it like this, but it's like, did she fall in love with you or the person you were pretending to be? Like, that's basically sort of the implication there, or did she make that promise, right? And so I would sort of like it if, like, the Faunus and Atlas had this idealized version of Adam, had this sort of mythical version of Adam, because that's sort of, I think, what even the fans wanted Adam to be, to some extent. Like, they wanted Adam to be this cool, rogue, sort of, like, freedom fighter that, had took some, like, violence ways, but not necessarily, like, let's be honest, I don't think that the majority of Adam fans wanted the crazy ex-boyfriend plot. And so it would sort of be an interesting sort of meta, like, commentary on the fans, because if the Faunus and Atlas see Adam as this cool, like, sort of, like, cool fighter, this sort of, like, freedom fighter for the Faunus sort of thing, that's what the fans saw Adam as, too. So you understand what I'm trying to say? So it would sort of be almost a commentary on, like, that subset of Adam fans that saw him that way, that wanted him that way. The people in Atlas wanted Adam that way. They sort of mythical-sized Adam that way. But in reality, we know that Adam was a certain way. And so then there's also the question, like, even though Adam was bad, can he still give people hope? But is he only able to give people hope because they don't know what the kind of person he was? And if that makes sense. Even though Adam is a bad person, does the legend of Adam help them rebel in some way? I think that's an interesting question.
That's very common in real life, that we create very simplified versions of historical people. Yeah. You see that with a lot of, just any, like, really...
Just anybody!
Pick any nation's, like, founding heroes or stuff like that, and you will find...
I mean, look at Hamilton, for example, right?
Deeply flawed people that people oversimplify for generations.
When you're looking at Hamilton, the musical, right? Obviously, like, they sort of present Hamilton as sort of, like, this charming, like, very smart, sort of charismatic, like... intelligent person, but at the same time, like, Hamilton owned slaves. Hamilton did that. Like, he was also a very problematic person if you look into the history, but the way that we want to remember someone doesn't always reflect who they actually were. Like, people are more complicated than sometimes we're taught and sometimes we understand, right? And it doesn't necessarily make all their accomplishments bad. If that makes
it just means that you have to have
a bit more complex.
You have to have a I guess, complex understanding of them, or like
a nuanced understanding. Yes. You know what I mean? So I feel like with Adam, that would sort of be interesting for people in Atlas to sort of have created this mythical version of him that didn't, like, that maybe existed once but never really existed again. But, like, is that okay for them to think, because it still gives them the hope to sort of fight back? And I sort of wonder if, like, Blake, we had this theory at the beginning of Volume 6, right? That Blake, Weiss, and Ilya were basically gonna overturn the Stardust Company, but obviously we never even got to Atlas this season. But I still feel like that particular theory could still happen. I feel like Ilya could come in. So it'd be interesting for Blake and Weiss to sort of go into Mantle or whatever, I guess wherever the Faunus are on the below part, because I'm guessing they're not on the above, and sort of see all that and see
because Blake
people
has never
like
been
Adam,
to
people
Atlas.
that know Adam. We can assume that she has.
She's never been to, so like, that would be interesting of her dealing with, like, those initial, like, because she's grown as a person and she no longer has a very sort of simplified view of even the Stardust Company now knowing Weiss or people compared to Faunuses, but now she would have to confront that kind of old rage again as an older, more mature character, and I think that would be very interesting.
And here's the other question, too, is, like, does Blake really know what other Faunus went through? Because if she grew up in Menagerie and she was, like, at the protest with her family and all that, like, she probably never encountered directly what happened in Atlas, even if she knew from Ilya and from Adam, like, what they had went through, to actually see it as something different, and it could make her sort of, I feel like there is going to be some trauma that they have after killing Adam, because after killing anybody and skewering them off a waterfall, like, obviously that affects you, right? So I wonder if that'll make her sort of feel bad, but Yang and somebody else has to be like, no, like, Adam wasn't like them. Like, he was like them once, but he turned into something different. He turned into a monster, something like that. So yeah, those are our thoughts about the new White Fang, and also Faunus and Atlas.
Be like in season 7. It sucks that it's gonna be like 7 to 8 months until we get.
I know, but
I'm just sitting here.
We'll still be here. We have the RWBY manga. We have the Viz Media manga, actually, which I haven't even touched, because we have the manga anthologies, and then we have the Viz Media pages that they're releasing, which is a whole different type of manga.
And
so
during
it's like,
this summer is when we get the Team Coffee book. Which
I just realized, you're right.
Yeah, you can actually pre-order it now. I almost pre-ordered it on Amazon last night. I didn't, but I almost did.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will. Oh, but we're also gonna get a trailer early, because they always show something at RTX, right? They showed the Adam character short at RTX, but RTX is in July, which means I'll be there and I can see it. But yeah, I will see you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you to all of our lovely patrons who have decided to support us over on Patreon. If you guys want to join up, there are a bunch of cool rewards for you guys, and some of the fan favorite rewards, you guys could say, are getting early access to our videos, being able to join and talk in our Discord server, being able to request videos at the $10 tier using video tickets. Those are just some of them, and so if any of those things interest you guys should check it out, become a patron, join our lovely patrons and I in the Discord server, and I will see you all in another video. Bye, guys!